Planting a succulent pot that everybody envies. Looking for a quick way to bring in some colour and plant life to your home or entertainment area without spending hours preparing it and then maintaining it afterwards? Well, welcome to this week's video where we create a beautiful succulent planting which will impress you and your friends and family. So before we get to planting up, let's have a look at the plants that I've selected for today. I recommend about 5 succulents if you're looking at a medium-sized pot, and maybe 2 or 3 succulents if you're looking at a small-sized pot. The odd number of succulents or of plants usually gives you a better aesthetic. And let's just give a rundown quickly of what the plants are here. So we have the yellow elephant bush, which is the Portulacaria aurea, with its golden yellow leaves and red stems, and it can grow to about 39 inches high, or about 1 meter in height. So it can get really big, but fortunately it's slow growing. It is also drought tolerant once it's established, but it needs a frost-free position. Then if we move on to the Crassula tetragonia, this is a South African succulent. It grows as sort of a dense bushy habit and produces small cream flowers in spring and summer. It thrives in full sun and tolerates dry conditions, although it prefers a little bit of moisture. It's okay in cold temperatures, but it does need to be protected from frost. Then we have the Crassula ovata minima, which is a compact succulent growing to about 20 or 30 inches, or at 50 centimeters high, with green fleshy leaves. They are edged in red, particularly in sun. It likes a sunny position and well-drained soil. Then we're looking at the chain plant, the Delosperma lemanii, is a compact succulent with blue-green foliage and daisy-like flowers in the spring. It will grow in most conditions but prefers full sun in well-drained soil. Then the short black Ionium, Ionium domesticum, is a slow-growing succulent with heads up to 3 inches or 8 centimeters in diameter on branch stems up to 8 inches or 20 centimeters long. The succulent will tolerate light frosts and prefers part sun, but it will grow in full sun. It can be cut to shape as well. Then we're looking at the yellow black gem, which will grow to a small clump of about 12 inches or 30 centimeters tall. It likes full sun to partial shade, and it can survive many months without water, but obviously will do better if you water it a little bit more regularly than that. It can be left to overgrow its pot, or it can be repotted in the summer when it's warmer. String of buttons, Crassula perforata, is a fast-growing succulent with grey-green triangular leaves and stacks. It likes full sun and can grow up to 60 centimeters high or 2 feet. So to start, let's just open the potting mix bag. I'm going to be adding parts sand and part potting mix, just to make sure that I've got the nutrients I need. So if I add a little bit of sand, let me just give it a good mix. Now the smaller pot, I'm probably only going to plant 1 plant in it today, just because it's an aloe and it's probably going to spread quite a bit very quickly. But I'll plant a little bit, 5 or so plants in the bigger pot, as it's got a lot more space. In terms of ratio-wise, we're probably looking at about 60 to 40 or 50 to 50 here in terms of the sand and the potting mix. The other advantage of the potting mix, it does include compost as well, so it just helps with the drainage too. All right, then in planting, you'll want to decide which plants go where, which is going to be based on what size their plants can get to. And if you've got a particularly tall plant, you probably want it in the middle, or if you're going to be planting the pot against a wall, then you'll want the tall plant at the back, and you'll want the smaller plants in the front, and the creeping plants in the front. So these two will be near the side, and then we can put the taller ones at the back. So I'm going to plant this one in the middle. So just arrange the plants in a way that you find attractive based on the leaf colors, the heights that they're going to be getting, and so forth. Careful about breaking off the leaves. Fortunately, being succulents, if you do break off any leaves, then it's a good excuse to grow a new plant. All right. The only problem is with low-growing plants is they're small to start with, but I'm sure they'll catch up pretty quickly. All right. Let's move some of the soil to the back. All right. And then the last one of the aloes. This is the black aloe. Now this one can get to the filling up the pot, which is why I'm planting it on its own at this point. All right. So I'm just going to give them a good water in now, and then just to try and get off some of the sand on that. Okay. And then before we get too far, we'll add the mulch. Now the point of the mulch is not just to stop the plants from drying out and the soil from drying out, but also in the winter, typically the succulents don't like the cold as much as some of the other plants. So the mulch helps to keep their roots warmer, so that's a good thing too. You might find that if you do live in a particularly cold area, you'll want to take your succulent pot indoors or under a roof area somewhere where it can be protected from frost. Most of the succulents are not going to do well in a frost environment, and particularly not in a snow environment. So these are definitely more summer-based plants. So what I typically do for some of my more frost-sensitive plants, I take them inside. We're in the southern hemisphere, and I put them near a northern window so that they get good sunlight in the winter, but they're not in the cold. And they tend to be very happy there. And then in the summer, I take them outside again. All right. Let's try this. Okay. So that's the mulching. Just give them a final water. Don't be too afraid to water them well to start with, just to give them a really good soaking. This helps to settle the soil around the roots and fill up any air holes. So the roots want to basically be connected with the soil all around and not have air voids, and that just helps with that. If the soil is free draining, it will drain quickly, which it seems to be doing, which is good. It's exactly what we want. There we have it. Our pots now planted with succulents. So there you go. Some really easy, very quick pots to make up, and you've got a lot of flexibility as to what you want to put in them and how they're going to look, what plants drape and what plants grow tall. Obviously, over time, as the plants grow, you may need to rearrange them or remove some plants or prune some plants, but that's the fun of succulents. They're pretty easy to play around with, and they're pretty hardy. So there you have the planted pot. As the plants grow, water only once the soil is dried out, which is typically every 1 to 2 weeks. Fertilize with sea salt or other seaweed extract every 2 to 4 weeks in the summer growing season. So there you have it, a beautiful pot for your garden or entertaining area. Just the ticket for cheering up the space and creating that inviting ambience. Well, that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe to see more of these videos in the future. Until next time, enjoy!